Wolf will just bite everything 4 fucking times so it dies.
Huh? Oh, man. Hello, stream. I am
Hi, stream.
dying.
He's dying.
Mm-hmm.
My asshole.
Man.
I can't do that again if I try. My asshole is on fire tonight. And
I knew. Yeah.
we don't know why.
I know why.
Why do you think?
You.
We're waiting.
As Trent speaks his native language when speaking to women. To confirm, it is not that. I think it was just the alcohol didn't agree with me very well and caused my stomach to dishevel itself. Yeah, that or the pack of strawberries I had this morning.
Or the mixture of both.
It was only 8 strawberries.
Yeah, your stomach hates you. We know this.
That's very true. And we're just waiting for Wolf to be joining us. He's currently taking a shower right now, so he'll be joining us shortly. Oh,
I'm just having fun rolling while he's gone.
that's fine. Whew. And I will be getting stoned tonight and playing Mass Effect and dragging Chasten in to watch it. So feel free to come hang out for that stream as well this afternoon. Because I've got Mass Effect the Legendary Edition, and I want to see how bad Mass Effect 1 still is. Because I do not have fond memories of that game.
Nice minimal damage you just rolled, Mike. Nice.
Yeah, that's 11. 11 damage, you know, that's almost... That can still insta-fucking kill a goblin.
Oh, you want goblins? Alright, let me get you goblins. Let me see.
No, I don't want goblins.
No.
Goblin Company. Here we go.
No.
I do not want your goblins.
Get your Goblin Slayer fantasy out of here.
How does 2850 XP if you manage to survive sound?
Alright, Snickhead, we're sending you in alone. We believe in you.
Fucking bet.
Let's see. It's only... Let's see. Let me see how deadly is this? It is only 2.5. It's nothing worse than what I normally throw at you.
Yeah. How many goblins?
Well then that would be telling. Oh, sorry, no, it's yeah, it's 2.5. You'd be fine.
How many goblins?
Enough to put the fright in you.
Enough to kill Bardris.
So at the very least, 1,000 goblins.
Yeah, no, that sounds about right.
Lovely.
Oh man. Everything's relaxing finally. I can feel it. So incoming that I'm just gonna scream running to the restroom.
Everything is relaxing finally. I'm like, oh, I know where this is going. He's about to shit himself.
I've never done that actually in my entire life. Even when I was wrestling.
Alright. I'm pretty sure that's a lie. I'm pretty sure when you were a baby you shot yourself once or twice.
I mean, I don't recall that far back. My memory barely remembers yesterday. Hi, Wolf.
What's up?
Well, it turns out that coffee, while a great fixer of being kind of drunk, does tend to weaken the walls of your asshole to a point where
How
you
did
feel
you
like
get
you're
drunk
dying.
off 2 ciders?
I didn't eat while I was drinking them because I ordered my food to go because the service was shit.
Gotcha. Oh, same guy wasn't there?
That guy was, but he had a full house.
Fair.
Alright. Welcome everyone to session 0 of what will be known as the End of the World campaign. And it is only proper that I bring in both Tren and Wolf for this campaign. And then a poor innocent bystander in the form of Chasten.
I'm gonna die.
There at the beginning, there at the end.
Yep. For all of those who don't remember, Wolf and Trent have been with this D&D campaign. Trent's been around in this campaign for 3 years, 4 years, something like that now.
Something like that.
And was the first person to ever join one of my D&D campaigns. He'll be the last one to join one of my D&D campaigns, and he'll probably be the first to die in one of my campaigns. Wolf has the only person who's actually won 2 of my campaigns successfully. Currently the only player to ever win one of my games, and Chaston, who is scared shitless to die terribly.
I'm an innocent dwarf. Let me
You're
live.
absolutely going to die.
You're going
know.
All of us are probably going to die very soon.
Yeah.
I've been told this many times. I'm aware.
As a reminder from how my rules work, for a Session 0 campaign, this is mostly just story. This will not be a full 3-hour session like I would normally do, mostly because this is just to get the party established and kind of set up. It could run longer, but there's not much. This is more of a story session. Secondly, for my homebrew rules, as a reminder, if you don't move, you get an extra action. It's treated as a normal action. You can do spells, whatever. My rounds last 30 seconds instead of 6. I am not very picky on spell durations, and concentration is a rarer thing for me to ask about. Otherwise, one of the main things I recommend is always asking questions, and avoiding goblins with smelly daggers, because that does always turn out bad.
And every single goblin I find.
Secondary tip, if you see giant squirrels, run. And thirdly, and most importantly, just remember one main rule. I'm gonna fuck up, don't correct me. Alright.
Hey, sure.
That's a new rule. Wonder where that came from.
Fucking Fraz, mostly. Alright, now that my asshole is no longer dying terribly, and I have my cup of coffee ready in case I start to feel tipsy again, we're ready to go. So, last time we left off was, well, not really a thing. So, we come into the session. I'm going to give each of you a chance to introduce your characters, and give some general information about yourselves, and we'll kind of jump into the story from there. So, starting with Chaston.
My name is Bardrus. No last name. I'm an innocent dwarf that doesn't want to die. I'm being held hostage now.
Here is my location. Please send the police.
Now that's
No,
now canon. He
I'm
has been
Bardrus.
kidnapped.
Bardrus, I'm a champion of
Session
pirates.
0 is finding where he was kidnapped.
I'm just a champion of pirates. I'm just here to get information. I'm hoping to be friends with as many people as possible so I don't get murdered. That's about it.
Okay. Thank you. Go ahead, Tren.
Hi guys, my name is Snicknesh. I really don't think I need an introduction. I'm Snicknesh. But in case you're unaware, I'm like a 9-foot tall dragonborn with like really crystal infused kind of scales that are hard as all hell, and I'm like beefy as fuck. There you go.
Stronger than most gods.
Pretty much.
Yeah, no, that's accurate. Alright, and the man who needs no introduction because he's managed to both piss off the DM and ruin the DM's plots multiple times. Wolf, go ahead.
What's up? I'm playing Caspian. What lands are we starting in again?
Good. We will be figuring that out during this session.
But we don't know.
Okay. That'll kind of determine exactly what I look like. I am playing a bard. And kind of a sneaky one at that. Kind of a shyster. Not one that many people know a whole lot about.
College of Whispers.
Nevertheless, he kind of changes like the breeze, you know? Can't be tied down. Fun guy.
And of course, I am your DM, the man who screws over his players as much as possible, throws impossible challenges just to see his players struggle and cry, and enjoys every bit of the sourness they have for me afterwards. If my players aren't swearing at me by the end of the campaign, I didn't do my job properly.
Fuck you.
I won't be sour.
Hey, it's at the start.
It's at
Joke's
the
on
end.
you.
Joke's on you. I gotcha.
All right, we will be doing these sessions on Fridays from here on out. This campaign will be called The End of the World on YouTube, and the group will be building their characters as they go for today. This is, again, a session 0, so this is more to kind of affirm a few things and go from there. So, firstly, we're going to start off with the one character who has already a lot of canon behind him because, well, he got himself melted into gold. Snake Nash, we're going to start with you.
Wonderful.
The year is, well, I've forgotten at this point and I've stopped keeping track because my players continue to screw things up for me and it's just not worth it anymore.
That's time travel.
Yes. You've Rejected Potential are off doing their own thing. Amateur Hour is long gone. Grim Legacy, most of them get turned to gold. Those few that lived disappeared into non-existence and more became whispers and threatening words. You find yourself standing in the middle of what is a marble city, a city made of marble, on top of a giant gold pillar with gemstones decorated all up and down it, and a bunch of much smaller versions of you that are a lot more plainer looking.
I'm going to just stare at them, and I'm just going to try and get their attention.
Okay. How would you like to get their attention?
I'll scream at them, as I usually do.
Roll for intimidation.
That's an 8. It's not very intimidating.
As you go to release a mighty roar, as you are the legendary Snake Nash, you are a man who felled 2 dragons with his bare hands, a man who took on armies by himself, who fought alongside even the legendary Zilpip, a man who became even more notorious than yourself. You go to roar mightily and you realize you've probably been here for a while because you don't recall what the fuck happened. And you're really thirsty, so all that comes out is more of a squeak, as if a kitten was just pushed and knocked over. And a child laughs at you and points, as the rest of the Dragonborn around you continue going about their business, and most continue to ignore you.
I'm getting off this pillow. I don't even know why I'm on here.
Alright, give me an acrobatics or an athletics check, whichever's higher.
25.
25? You climb down with a grace that not even a cat could do when jumping off of a tree. Managing to, in fact, jump so elegantly, you catch ongoers' attention as they toss a couple coins your way. You gain 4 coppers from the ground. No one seems to stop you or really care about you otherwise. This town is gorgeous. This reminds you very much of a similar town you once visited, that you remember leaving on fire and getting yelled at by one of your party mates for setting on fire. You remember one of your party mates saying something about it's bad to start slave revolts, but you really didn't understand what a slave was, or really what a revolt was. You were just hungry.
I was just hungry, yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that tracks. Well, seeing as I've just awoken from this sort of odd slumber, I'm going to look for water and food because that's what that's Snick Nesh's always major priority.
Okay. Nick Nash, are you the type that would eat other Dragonborn, or are you the type that would prefer to go after a more interesting game?
Whatever will fill me.
Okay. Alright, we'll come back to you in a moment. Caspian.
Yes.
You've been spending some time traveling about, going from town to town, learning about the world, seeing what's really out there. And this is a time of chaos. You've realized that given your youth, you figure this is the best time to get out without really being noticed or bothered. It's also a good time to make money in this world, as mercenaries are always for hire. There's always quests for adventurers, and this has kind of led you to the heart of the Dragonborn lands after managing to catch a ferry ride for from another land that is unbeknownst to the rest of the party. After arriving in what is the known as the Dragonborn capital, a city of gold and marble that is just gorgeous, you hear tale through your travels through the city of a giant golden statue coming to life and mauling about
Mm.
7 Dragonborn with its bare hands, not really caring, and then taking their equipment and then vanishing into the Sahara. Um,
Wow, that sounds interesting. Sounds like a story.
yeah.
Sounds like a story.
You find yourself in a bar, just your local small tavern, kind of in the more slummy areas where you're less likely to go noticed.
Okay.
A
What do I look
barkeep.
like right now?
Right now, you've got yourself kind of looking more scaly, like a kind of a mixture between a lizard folk and a dragonborn.
Gotcha.
Trying to blend in with the local crowd, and you found that this
Mhm.
gets you more information as you're traveling through these areas.
Yeah. So you said I make it to a tavern?
Yes.
All right. I'm What's the kind of vibe in this tavern? Are people excited? Are people talking? Or are people just down in the dumps drinking?
There's a few lizard folk in here that you recognize are probably some sort of slave, or lesser creatures, who are kind of quietly drinking and huddling to themselves. But a lot of more guards seem to be here. This seems to be a very popular spot for those on the like middle to lower income class, who just want to come and relax and hang out and just enjoy and have a good time. So for the most part, pretty happy. There's no fire going because it's honestly extremely hot in this place, as it is in all of the Dragonborn lands. Um, Beer's good, ale's better. The women are scary.
Huh, nice.
Hmm.
I uh I head up to the bar
Hmm.
and I go over to the bartender.
All right.
And I kind of call him over and go. I kind of pause and look at him and I go, "You, I know you. Ah, what was your name?" And I kind of snap my fingers like it's on the tip of my tongue, and I cast Read Thoughts. Or
You read this man's thoughts. This
so I
is
get his like surface thoughts.
all
What's
right.
his name?
This Dragonborn, this older Dragonborn that you notice is kind of a like a mixture of a lighter white color. His name is Fane. And all you get out of him is that he is kind of annoyed that there are people in his bar still, and he just wants to get off for the day. He's done and wants to clock out.
Gotcha. I go, Fane, that's right. How you doing, man? It's been a long time.
The older Dragonborn who doesn't have any scruff, just looks very tired. His scales are slightly wrinkled. Surprisingly, his skin is a lot more leathery. Well, and he kind of looks at you, and goes, It's been a day. I've been sitting here listening to someone complain about their problems all day. A small dwarf was in here griping about wanting to study about Tautler and asking all these questions. I tell you, these
Oh,
foreigners.
that sounds pretty annoying, man. I know, right? Fucking foreigners.
Good on Tautler for invading those gnomish lands and wiping out those bastards. Hopefully he'll do the same thing to the dwarves here soon.
It's about fucking time. I feel you, man. Hey, I just got back to town. I was traveling for a while. I just got in. What's this about a golden statue coming to life?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
He smiles and
Slaughtered
goes,
a bunch of people? Where was that?
yeah, Tautler's court. Apparently the pillar in front of his house that everyone thought was just a beautiful statue was supposedly rumored to be one of Zilpip's creations. Came to life
Damn,
suddenly
dude.
and just was apparently hungry and just started eating people. He had a child that wasn't more older than 5 because it pointed and laughed at him. I tell
Man
you,
alive.
I don't know if that creature was real, if it was a golem, but whatever it
Uh,
was.
just based off his surface thoughts, do I get the sense that he thinks it's funny. He thinks it's tragic. What's he sort of think about it?
He doesn't seem seems like he's kind of neutral on the thing. It's not really an issue to
Gotcha.
him, because he's just a typical guy. So
That's fair. I go. "Oh, all right, man. Well, what you got? What's your strongest, man? I need a drink.
I've got some scaled brew. I got some that dwarven red brew, something with cinnamon in it.
Nah. I need that scaled brew.
All right. He goes and pours something. It goes to one of the barrels that looks like it's kind of got like a leathery outer shell to it rather than a typical wood that you'd expect in most of the other lands. And starts pouring out this green liquid that from here you can see is bubbling slightly.
Ooh.
And he brings it over and it's just in a normal mug, and sets it down and it's foaming a strange kind of yellowish green color, and it smells like a mix of sea salt and dirty gym socks, as it continues to sizzle.
Is he fucking with me?
No, he seems
All right.
honest about, like, this is a normal brew. You actually, as you look around the room, see other dragonborn drinking this.
I bring it up, and I try to bring it up super fast, like I'm chugging the whole thing real quick, but I try to pour it over my shoulder.
Give me a deception check.
Awesome. I have advantage on that because I'm in his head.
Good news is my rolls are shit tonight too. Good news, Paul. Barbarous, you might live.
That's a natural 1 and an 11, so 17.
Well, yeah, you succeed because he also got a natural 1. And he just looks at you and goes, you want another? I can on the house for you, old friend.
You know what? Actually, I'm trying to keep my wits about me. I kind of got a hot date tonight. But I appreciate it, and you know what? I think I'll call that in later, my friend.
Good man. I recommend, if you're with visiting in town, I highly recommend going to the center of the capital. See the beautiful statues. Great place to take women or men, whatever your preference.
Hey, much appreciated, man. I'll keep that high in mind. And I'll stand up and head out. Try to head towards the capital. See, you see, it was, or you said it was the Capitol building where the statue broke out of. Yeah, I'll head over there. See.
Okay. All right, we'll come back.
See if I can track whatever this statue guy was.
Sounds good. I'll come back to you. Barbarous.
Yep.
You just got into town. You're one of the few dwarves actually being allowed in the Dragonborn lands, the Golden Tau Empire. Toutler gave a special sort of visa for you that allowed you to travel as you like, so long as you wrote a fair history, and kept neutral to any events.
This is pretty much the interview where the leader of North Korea let in a couple
Yeah,
reporters.
basically.
As long as they reported good things.
Yes. So as you've been through your travels, Barbarous, you've seen slaves of all sorts. You've seen gnomes, dwarves, goblins, pretty much the majority of the more humanoid-looking species. Those who are not scaled. You have noticed many of them in chains, working as you've been kind of traveling through these lands, writing about what information you can, finding out who the new local lords are, taking note of what the experience was with the Tilk Wars and how it's affecting the current economy of the Golden Tau Empire, a war that was many years ago. You find yourself eventually in the capital, having just finished up interviewing Toutler himself, a man who you could only describe as very zealous in his beliefs and very egocentric. Also believing that he is still telling you something about a story about being a god to a lich. While that doesn't make any sense in context to you, writing it down just makes it easier to keep him happy. He also mentioned something about his Alpha Dragonborn statue unfortunately coming to life, and he is blaming the Holy Dwarven Empire for it. And you saw this statue a few days ago as you came to court, and had seen it was glorious, of this beautiful golden statue of what you can only describe as what looks like a Goliath that fucked a Dragonborn, and produced a child, because this thing was huge. Even for Goliaths, who on average, around 7 to 8 feet, this thing is 9 feet tall from what you measured, and massive.
I
One sec.
see.
One sec, I have a call.
Rar.
If I keep Tutler liking me, maybe I won't die this session.
Maybe.
No promises.
Here's the game. I'm gonna write good things, and after I leave, then I'll change anything that was a lie, and then I can get out of here alive. It's okay. It's okay. Oh God, I'm scared.
Don't be so terrified. You're not gonna die. Session 0.
Bargus is the weakest person in the party. Bargus is terrifying.
Don't worry, you'll be fine. Wolf, tell him he'll be fine.
Wolf lying
What's
is
up?
nice.
Wolf, tell Justin he'll be fine.
No thanks.
Yeah, see.
I'm good.
Justin, you'll be fine. You won't die session 0. Session 1 is a possibility.
You
Also,
never know.
when are you turning into, you know what I mean. So, not fucking Caspian. You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
What? I'm not gonna turn into Jimmy Neutron.
No. That'd be hilarious, though. Neutron.
I'm quite disappointed that you're not a four-headed shark. I'm gonna be honest.
That's what I was mentioning. I didn't want to say it out loud. Come on.
How dare you blow my cover?
Seriously. That's exactly why I didn't want to mention
That
it.
is my combat move.
Okay, I see you. Can you, like, as a changeling, can you exactly mimic anybody you see? Can you, like, turn into the exact same person as somebody?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So you could turn into Snicknish if you wish. Do you keep his strength score?
Who?
If you turned into Snicknish, would you keep Snicknish's strength? score?
No. I can't take their physical characteristics. Like, I keep my strength, constitution, and dexterity. I just look like them. It's not an illusion. Like,
He can make people
I
think he's
grow-
Snicknish, but
if I grow to his height, I mean, I can do that. I'm just
Yeah.
not as strong as him.
yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
On one hand, I want to find Snicknish because he's the golden statue. On the other hand, I don't want this to be able to eat me. I'd rather not.
I mean, if you get in a safari truck or something, you're just like, all right, I want to find this statue. I want to. Can you help me, Tutler? Can you give me a crew? Then boom.
Yeah, I'd rather
That's,
not you kill his crew and I get in trouble.
Apologies for that. Doctor was
That's fine.
calling me to reschedule my blood pressure exam.
That's fine. Don't worry about it.
They're like, yeah, we want to get you in. We're a little worried because last week at the beginning of this week you had high blood pressure. I'm like, thanks, I remember. Okay, so Give me a minute. I just want to grab the tab I accidentally just closed, which
Remember
was...
what I said, Justin.
So, Cheston.
Not doing it.
Bardris. Alright. So,
Mhm.
as I was saying, yes, Toutler had mentioned something about his statue coming to life, and you'd seen this massive statue. The pole it was on was rather golden. You do remember him saying something about someone trying to stick a golden rod to hold the statue in place. And they managed to get the golden rod stuck, but they didn't end up having to drill into the statue, thankfully. And you recall this conversation because the person who brought it up, one of Toutler's advisors, was very vivid about the experience, which you're a little you felt a little concerned upon hearing. Um,
Uh-huh.
and after your interview and leaving, you managed to find a bar, kind of more in the slumish areas, where you found where most of the soldiers and guards tended to go and drink. Spent some time there with the bartender known as Fane, talking to him about the local area and getting kind of a bit more on the geography of where certain things are. Finding out that pretty much everything outside of the capital city wasn't really well developed. It was mostly giant desert or massive things of plains with a couple of giant lakes here and there spotted around where they would grow local teak trees as well as have some wildlife for hunting purposes. And then after about spending some time at the bar, you decided to go and wander more around the city, not really wanting to stick around as the barkeep wasn't exactly the friendliest of people to deal with, and the brew was, in your experience being growing up in the Dwarven lands, was just something to regret. The Dragonborn don't seem to really know how to make an alcohol proper, um, as the smell alone caused you to almost upchuck. We
I
come
see.
we come to you kind of walking through a market, one of the major markets, listening into people kind of going about their business. A lot of the Dragonborn are kind of watching you as you have around your necklace basically a signed piece of paper that has a magical seal on it to make it so it doesn't get wet or just get destroyed. That just says, "I'm allowed to be here," signed King Toutler. That's really all it is. You
Yep,
realize
fair
Toutler's
enough.
not the brightest of kings, and prefers to
It's
be called
fine.
emperor.
Yep.
And as the Dragonborn go about their business, kind of watching you, you see that there's a very large difference between how Dragonborn are treated and the Lizard folk, as you find that Lizard folk are kind of treated as secondary citizens, although still higher up than your common slave. Um, you also see at one point as you're walking by around a very large and robust female Dragonborn that you would describe as very round and very well taken care of. She seems to be buying a few things here and there. She looks to be kind of more of a notable woman. Um, she also seems to be. You catch a conversation with her and a merchant about a black dragonborn egg that she's been looking for a while.
Hmm.
And otherwise, you catch a few rumors here and there, but nothing that catches your attention other than that there's a giant crystal dragonborn on the loose somewhere eating children.
Do I want to look for the dragon? That's the question. Do I feel like looking for him? Fuck it. I'll look for him.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm interested. This is history, live history happening in front of me.
All right. That's fair. Let me just pull up something real quick. Okay. Go ahead and give me a survival check to see if you can manage to start figuring out more on where he would have gone.
Oh, I'm not good at these. Yeah, 8. No, I guess I'm gonna ask around instead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So kind of looking around, you realize, in all honesty, most of the Dragonborn look the same to you. You couldn't tell one from another, and except for the fact that they have different colored scales. And you're still trying to figure out which ones are the females and which ones are the males. There are merchants walking about. You see, but again, that are more than friendly enough to talk to you. You see a couple of soldiers walking about. That rather large noble woman I mentioned. Is there anything in particular you're gonna look for to go and ask?
I want to start with one of the friendly merchants.
Okay. So as
I'll
you
leave
walk up
this
to
to
one of the
start.
stalls, you see a very small and robust dragonborn. He kind of looks at you a little strange and just kind of confused that a dwarf would be anywhere near or this far into the Golden Teltler Empire, and kind of looks at you and goes, "Can I help you, stout
I'm
fellow?"
gonna I'm gonna stay very yeah, I'm gonna stay very friendly. Hello, I was wondering if you saw where the supposed statue coming to life went.
The one with the golden rod in its ass.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Ah, yes, I saw that. It was a dire sight. He managed to eat a child, 4 guards, and I think an actual live tuna fish that was the size of a small house. Um, yes.
Ugh.
Are you are you helping in capturing him? I hear there's a very large bounty on him right now to capture the creature, set by our emperor of all things.
Well, while I may, I'm actually I'm only allowed here because I'm part of the Champions of Pyrus. I'm here to record what happened. Uh,
That makes more sense. Really, they didn't send a Dragonborn scholar. Interesting. Well, good friend. Well, I have wares if you're interested. I am happy to be of assistance any way I can. Um, my name is Grajin. My shop is known as Grajin's Wares, if you'd like to take track of that. We are well known around these areas. I'm one of the more common spice merchants in these times.
I'll look at him and say, while I was completely planning on shopping and checking out, I don't know how far this golden dragon is going to go. I will happily come back and buy later, but the faster I find it, the less people that may get hurt.
Oh, you're a capable one, I'm guessing.
I like to think myself at least semi-capable in combat.
He looks you up and down for a second, goes, ah, well, I hear your people are very robust. Um, well, I may have heard a thing or two, here and there. As he kind of just eyes you
What
up
does
and
he have
down.
in shop? What does he have in his shop? He wants me to buy something.
What it looks like is dried peppers, some strange colored powders, nothing that looks like it has a value to it, and all of it's really expensive. You're seeing most of the stuff is going for an average of 2 gold pieces.
I either buy something and spend a lot of money, or I don't and I look like an asshole and he's not gonna like me.
The inner monologue of Barnus.
I'll buy some spices.
Okay.
For 2 gold and something.
All right. He hands you a jar. That to you looks like honestly like dirt at this point. It smells spicy. But it looks like very fine dirt and sand.
To be fair, I'm hunting a dragonborn. This could be useful.
In a
This could
glass
help.
jar. Well, that's true. Man goes, my memory suddenly comes back to me. I did see where that golden statue went. He was sniffing. He had this strange nose fixture, very human-like, on it stuck to his face. He kept trying to pull at it and couldn't remove it. He headed out of the town in a really quick run, looking for water. I'm guessing. At least that's what my guess would be. And he points south or north of the city and says, "There's a giant reservoir up there, where live game can be easily found with large creatures. I imagine something of that sort might be interested in that."
I'm going to pack away the spice that I bought. I'm going to nod and smile and say much obliged, and I'm going to leave in that direction.
Okay, we'll come back to you in a moment. Snicknesh.
Oh.
After about, a few hours of hunting small game around the city, you get kind of bored as they're really not fighting back. It's not really worth your time anymore.
Right.
Now you're no longer hungry. You feasted on a few things. You're pretty sure that you ate something that was probably fully ironed up. You're not sure if it was wearing armor. You're not sure if it was a statue. It looked tasty, and you just devoured it.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, okay.
As you start heading out of the town, seeing more and more lizard folk, that you get some flashbacks that lizard folk are good things that you don't eat, but you don't remember why. You also finally feel a slight discomfort As you notice, there's been a golden rod stuck in, kind of forced under your tail, this
Oh.
entire time.
Yeah, I'm pulling that out.
Give me a strength check.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. 23.
All right, you managed to pull it out with extreme ferocity. It hurts like hell. You do 2 damage to yourself as you manage to pull, and everything starts bleeding.
I'm going to scream in pain.
You do, and as you roar out, people start running away from you more.
Lovely, lovely.
As-
Hopefully it was incredibly loud.
it catches a lot of people's attention. You do notice, off in the distance, people are looking at you. There are guards heading towards you, and they look kind of scrawny and not appetizing.
I'm gonna throw the bar at them. I'm not gonna try and hit them. I'm just gonna throw it like at their feet, hoping that it's just like leave
Give
me
me an
alone.
athletics check.
20.
Oh, as you go in to throw it, as you're very experienced tossing rather large javelins and the occasional gnome, you aim perfectly right in front of their feet, and as the thing goes soaring, even with them moving towards you, you manage to get the trajectory just perfect, and it lands in front of the lead one, and the guard goes pale and just kind of starts to turn around and walk away, leaving you
Okay.
to your own devices.
All right, there we go. Good, lovely. I'm
And
gonna.
you get the smell of what smells like a very large fish nearby that smells absolutely delicious.
I'm chasing it right now.
Okay, as you run off into the distance, you see a large reservoir. You realize you have yet to have anything to drink since you've woken from your slumber, and you smell the fish is coming from inside of it.
I'm going to both drink and eat.
Okay, as you go diving in after the fish and continue while with a wide open mouth, you catch a few fish like a giant whale would if it just opened its mouth as it was swimming. You also at some point hear someone screaming at you off in the distance, but you pay very little attention to the thing and notice there are a lot of pretty trees around you as you begin
Oh,
to relax and enjoy the nice cool water and the very hot temperatures.
lovely. I mean, seeing a Snickness basically looks like a crocodile dinosaur kind of hybrid.
Hmm.
This fits.
Yeah. So as you kind of relax and go about your business of scarfing down every single fish you can find, um, a little while later, we'll come back to you.
Okay.
Caspian, I assume you're alive. I think Wolf's gone silent.
Wolf.
You know what?
Oh, he might be
Wolf.
he might be dealing with something for a moment.
Yeah.
All right, we'll come back here in a minute then. Bardrus,
Yes.
after getting this information from your new friend, and local spice merchant, heading out of the town, you see that there are very pale regiment of guards coming back. They look to be kind of disheartened and a little slightly terrified, as if they've just seen a ghost, marching from the direction you're heading.
I see. I don't even think I have to ask. I'm gonna assume with it be eating with the thing I'm looking for eating dragonborns. I'm gonna assume it's that way.
Okay. And as you continue heading in that direction, ignoring the small regiment of guards, you notice there's a rather large and rather thick golden pole impaled into the dirt. It also reeks of what you can only imagine to be animal carcass.
Yeah, I'd rather not touch that.
That's fair. Avoiding touching it. Give me a survival check.
Alright. It's a nice 2. Yeah.
All right, you gain nothing from this other than you notice that out on the slumish areas, the dirt is a little kind of swampier, and a lot more liquefied, and more muddy overall. You do notice that there are
Mm.
footprints pretty close by to where this rod was that are almost the size of your torso, heading in the direction you're going.
I feel like a journalist. All right.
Writes down notes, takes a full cast.
Yeah.
Continuing on that direction, after a little while, you run into, or you see what looks to be a very angry-looking dragonborn, in very simple clothing, wearing a kind of a wheat straw hat, and seems to be yelling at something in the water. As you get closer, you notice there is a very crystal-like, almost crocodile, swimming around and snorting on occasion in the general direction of the what you assume is probably some sort of peasant or farmer.
I want to sketch Snicknesh once I can see him, like, clearly.
Okay, well, you can see his head clearly. The rest of the body is submerged currently.
Well, I know roughly how tall he is from the statue, so I can
Mhm.
kind of make some assumptions
Mhm.
to try and make it work.
Okay.
At least a first rough sketch, because I don't think when he gets to the water, he's gonna be too still for me to take a sketch later.
All right. So as you sit down and start drawing, the farmer kind of comes over and glares at you and sees your pass and just kind of huffs at you and goes back to what he was doing as he's working on his tree. Um, Trying to kind of get the trees all set up and still yelling and swearing on occasion at the mighty looking crocodile that's in the water. You go ahead and give me a performance check.
I'm gonna hope this goes well. Nope, I'm gonna scrap this sketch. That's a 5. No,
You
that's
managed
a
to
bad
draw the
sketch.
head pretty well, but due to the kind of the water and the shade, the way his head continues to move and he continues to
You know
snort
what?
at you.
I'll just make a sketch of the head. That's what I really need, because he
Okay.
looks a little different. Yep.
Go ahead and give me another performance check then.
Uh, Wish my charisma was higher. That's even worse. It's a 3.
You
Terrible.
manage to get a rough drawing. You don't get many details, but you get the rough shape and size of it. Of the head that keeps moving as it on occasion opens its mouth, and you notice the mouth is extremely large as it sucks in both water and rather large fish from what you can see.
Rough sketch is good enough for now.
Okay,
That's...
we'll come back to you in a moment. Caspian, I assume you're back
My
now.
man. Yep.
So, after you headed towards the center of town, it took you a little while, about 10-20 minutes. It's not a massive town. It's not very wide. It's very dense, though.
But I'm kind of like pointing at people, doing the whole like Spider-Man 3 dance down the street kind of thing.
Jimmy Neutron.
People are
the
looking
Jimmy
at you
Neutron
kind of
style.
funny on occasion, but most of them seem to ignore you outright as you just look like a kind of a hybrid, and most of them don't want to be bothered. As you get to the center of town, you see this very large marble fountain, very gorgeous, has glowing rocks all through it, and you can see where there was once a statue on a giant golden pillar in the center of this fountain. The pillar itself has got gems imbued in it. It's very very pretty, and as you kind of look from your general direction, you can see where it looks like something was on top of it, and you can see a piece of what looks to be like something that was sticking up from the pillar to hold the statue is cracked off, and like completely torn. And the guards seem to all be kind of inspecting it. You see a couple of very pale-looking guards that seem to be looking at the fountain and trying to figure stuff out. And as they kind of see you examining it, they just kind of one kind of smiles and just kind of points to the other guards. As you see another group kind of coming up that look extremely terrified and pale from the situation. You can also get a very strong whiff of what you would only describe as a dead body coming off of them. Yeah.
Uh, let me see here. I should have had this list up beforehand, but I kind of pull out of my bag this long scroll with intricately written writing, all legal speak, and I just kind of wave it in front of the people, not slow enough for them to read it, just pretty much shoving a paper in their face and then putting it back in my bag, and I say, Detective Tofor, sent by the High Guard. I'm here to investigate what happened here. Who can give me a rundown?
Give me a deception check.
Yep. And the closest one, I wanna get in his head.
Okay.
Whoever looks in the most authority here.
All right.
Ba-ba-ba. Is that a natural 20? That's a natural 20
Okay.
for 26.
So, you notice one of the
I love
more
these dice.
bulky looking guards that looks to be the one the other guards kind of look to kind of comes up to you and tries to read the papers. You kind of flash it in front of them, not really catching it and realizing that she probably can't, or this dragonborn can't really read. You also catch this is a female dragonborn. Her name is Estrid, and she seems both irritated at her own men as well as genuinely irritated by you.
Fair.
And she just looks at you and goes, "My men just got a golden rod almost shoved up at their feet. What would you like to know? What was your name again? Topher?
Yes, Detective Tofor.
Uh,
Tofor Britoris.
okay. Yeah, what would you like to know?
I want to know what happened here.
Well, some golden statue came to life. It ate a child, 4 adults, and a tuna the size of a house. Let's see. Then it threw a giant stick of gold at my men that apparently smelled of dead bodies and rotten carcasses. Their description, not mine, and she points north of the town, went that way.
Do we have any living witnesses?
Some merchant that sells dirt that smells spicy. And that's pretty much. And then my men, who all seem scared shitless of this thing. There was also a
Understood.
dwarf
Well,
heading in that direction, if you're interested.
a dwarf.
Yes, some champion. Dude who writes for a living, a scholar.
Oh, gotcha.
Fucking
Understood.
nerd.
Yep, indeed, nerd. All right. Well, I'm going to. You said he just went that way. How long ago?
10, 20 minutes ago, roughly.
Is it still on the loose?
Well, it's not. Hopefully, it's not in the town anymore. According to my men, they said that it was heading towards the reservoir, where we have one of our tilk farms growing. So hopefully, it's satisfied to stay there and eventually be hunted by another dragonborn.
Understood. Do we have any men stationed over there? Anyone
Why
pursuing?
would we station men around a tilk tree farm? It's a tree farm. What are they gonna do? Cut down the trees?
You'll want to watch that tone with me.
Give me an intimidation check.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, cock dice, and it rolled bad.
24.
She looks at you and goes, all right. My apologies, detective person. I'm not
Detective Tofor Britoris. It'll do you
Yes.
well to remember that name.
I will write it down and have one of my men keep track of that. Yes, the dragonborn, the giant dragonborn creature. I don't know if it's a Goliath. I don't know if it's a scaled up elephant. All I know is it's heading towards the Tilk farms. None of my men are going over there because I'm not chancing them getting eaten. If it wants to spend the rest of its life in that reservoir, it can. Hopefully, it eats the dwarf. That's all I care.
Understood. And I walk away. I'm gonna walk through the town, in that direction. And when I get far enough to where I'm out of any eyesight, any range that they can see me, I dip off into an alley and just make myself look like one of their guards.
Okay.
One of the scared ones.
Okay. So as you
Not wearing any armor, just his
yeah.
appearances.
Okay. As you manage to take the shape of a normal red dragonborn, an average-looking fellow in the area. Walking through the alley, you see a very grand market, and you see a spice merchant off in the distance. It says, and all it reads in there is Grijin's wares. And you can smell the spice from here. You can also see a very, very large, almost gargantuan-like female dragonborn speaking to another merchant. Otherwise, the other merchants don't really look to be of any interest, nor do they look to be paying attention to much.
Okay. Grijin's wares. I'm assuming that is the dirt merchant.
Looking, you do see
Just
jars.
based off what the detective
Yep.
told me.
You do see jars of what look to be spice that are colored brown.
Can I take out a jar and put some dirt in it? Just some of the dust from around.
Do you have a glass jar?
I can empty one.
Okay.
Let's see. I mean, I have a couple clear canisters that
That'll work.
contain smoke for smoke grenades. I'll just empty the components into something else.
Okay. As you go about doing that and dump some dirt, or scrape some dirt up, the dirt here in the alley is a little drier. Thankfully, you notice you're not close enough to the slums to where the ground is a little more muddy, a little more wet. But you do definitely start to see impressions on the ground of what look to be a very large feet that would probably be about the size of a torso of an average dwarf in the direction that the guards pointed.
Gotcha. I take a second in this alleyway, and I cast Distort Value on the jar of dirt that I have to make it look a lot more valuable than it is. It kind of gets shiny, and some of the dirt in there kind of sparkles and stuff. And I head over to the merchant, and I go, What was his name? Gaijin?
Grijin.
Grijin, you filthy dog! You're still peddling off your dirt." In like a more joking tone.
The man kind of looks at you and goes, I don't. Do I know you?
Know me? We grew up together, man. Me and you in the same neighborhood, and I try to read his thoughts to see where that neighborhood might have been.
Grijin is from the border town between the Gnomish land and the Golden Towel Empire. He is not from this town.
You and I, we grew up in the borderlands between the Gnomish lands and the Golden Towel Empire. You and I.
Huh.
You don't remember me?
Grijin does not remember you in the slightest.
Oh, buddy, I'm hurt.
Well, I see you bought my wares in the past, as he looks at the jar.
Actually, I came to you with a business offer. See, I found a supplier of some wares that are similar to yours that I think could actually kick your business up a notch.
Give me a deception check.
Yeah.
God, he's so fucking slimy and sneaky.
Barges, I don't think you have to worry about getting killed in court now.
22.
He's just so fucking.
Grijin goes, oh, a business deal. I'm interested. Ah, yes, good friend, I remember you now. You can tell he totally does not remember you in the slightest. He's bullshitting.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
He goes, yes. What do you have? I'm interested.
Ah, yes. Here I have Musaka spice, taken from the far lands off to the west. I have a dealer over there who has agreed for a very small payment each month to send me monthly shipments of this spice, which I believe you run a very noble, honorable business now. I believe this could take it up even a further notch.
You can tell he's thinking you're a sucker. He goes, I'll tell you what. I'll buy your supplier out. You give me the location of the location where you pick this stuff up. I'll buy it off you, let's say for 10 gold pieces.
10 gold pieces. You think me a fool?
No.
This jar alone is worth 80 gold pieces.
Grajin does not have that kind of money, unfortunately. He is totally lying. As he is dipped in gold currently. As you look him up and down, he has got jewelry all over him.
I was dipped in gold.
know
You
what?
also do notice he has a giant gold stick sitting beside him at this point. It smells god awful.
He took my shit, Spike.
You took my shit, Spike. You know what, Grajin? Because we're old friends, let me throw you a bone here. I'll give you half off because I just want to make a gesture that this is a business deal to last a lifetime.
Okay.
I'll say only 40 gold pieces.
40 gold. I'll tell you what. Make it 20 and we'll call it a deal.
35.
27.
32.
30.
Lowest I'll offer.
30, and that's my only offer.
30 gold for the jar of dirt. Come on, Wolf.
You can tell
My
Grajin's starting
friend,
to get
as
annoyed.
always, you drive a hard bargain, and I shove out my hand to him to shake his hand.
He does the same, and he hands you 30 gold pieces.
I hand him my shiny jar of dirt.
He looks at it, smells it, enjoys the scent of it, and says, good business deal, and puts it on the shelf and puts a tag. You can see him putting a tag of 60 gold pieces on it.
Man, he literally just...
30 on the jar of dirt.
He's pawn starred this motherfucker.
How long does it last?
8 hours.
Yep.
I'll be long gone.
Grajin goes, but friend, I tell you, there's something interesting. There was a dragonborn that came through here who had a giant, who was made of gold. He literally shits gold.
Really?
I tell you, if you
saw it?
If you manage, and he points to the stick, if you manage to catch him and get more of these, I'll cut you in for a good deal to make sure they're smelted to proper coin.
Ooh. You know what? That's a deal too.
You know, he smiles and puts his hand out.
Yep, shake his hand.
You're so lazy. You're so
All right.
Fraz was wrong. The only way to win is to play. And to play real dirty.
All right.
Nevertheless, with our business kind of conducted, do I see any price tags for the crappy dirt that he's selling?
Yeah, all of it's around 2 gold pieces for a small jar. And you can see that
I'll
one
buy
is
a
clearly
jar
missing.
off him just for good faith.
Okay. As you buy one off of him, they all look the same, you realize, and they're completely dirt, as you can tell by the value of it.
Oh, absolutely.
But
yeah.
as you hand him 2 gold pieces, he just smiles and nods and just goes about his day.
All right, I head off, dip into another alley, transform back to the person I was when I entered town.
Okay. You
and
now have a jar of spicy dirt.
I empty out the jar of dirt and put the components for the smoke bomb back in it.
You just want the glass jar. Okay. You notice as you do, it seems to mix with the smoke real well, and it gives off a very pleasant scent that makes you very sleepy.
Oh.
You might actually want the dirt then.
As you kind of take a look into it, you realize that there is a chemical in or some sort of spice that Grajin puts in it. Doesn't realize what the actual value. This is naturally a product that you find in the Tiefling lands that they use to put people to sleep.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Makes a note of that for Kips.
I scoop as much. I mean, I emptied it out.
Mm-hmm.
I scoop as much of the good stuff back into this smoke grenade as possible.
You now have
so
a
maybe,
sleep grenade.
hopefully, it'll disperse with the smoke.
Yep.
I'm no scientist, but you know.
No, but it's pretty easy to figure that out. Okay. And I take it that you're
Alright.
heading in that general direction of the giant
Yes,
dragonborn?
I'm heading straight over to the reservoir. I want to
Okay.
see this for myself.
Alright. Bardris. After sitting here for a while, you see that this alligator slash crocodile slash prehistoric monster of a dragonborn is slowly getting closer to you as it continues to feed on the fish it's chasing and seems to continue to eye you. After a little while, you do finally succeed in getting a proper drawing of its head without having to do a performance check. And it seems the creature continues to eye you up. Give me a history check.
I'm gonna hope this goes well. I'm actually good at these.
I
This is a
would
day of
hope
bad
so,
balls. I got a
you
7.
historian.
This is a terrible,
Oh my god.
Wow,
I got a
dude.
terrible start.
That's rough.
You recognize
This is
this creature is something important from your studies. You just don't remember why.
Do it again. Roll
I
again.
want to look through my notes. that I
All right,
have.
roll with advantage. God damn it. Let's see.
Jesus.
Dude, this is terrible. What the fuck is this campaign?
Sheesh. You're
um,
destined to die here.
I have a +4 on history. This is terrible.
Oh, that's not that high. That's +4?
so you
Well, I mean, I guess
um,
you are
fine.
level 1. Okay.
All my
Yeah,
points are
everybody's
gone.
level 1.
All my
So,
points are two.
you-
You're the only one with boosted stats.
looking
That
through
is
your
fair.
book, you know this is an important creature. You don't know why. You have notes on it from one of the classes, but you remember falling asleep during that class because you just weren't interested in the Dragonborn histories.
Fair.
And after the whole explanation of Tautler's empire being created and all the jokes aside from it, you've kind of started to get bored and focus on other things. And unfortunately, getting distracted on other subjects, you don't recall why this is an important creature, but
Yeah.
it seems to be interested in you.
I'm just gonna think, well, it must not be important and leave. I'm gonna go.
Okay.
Must not be important. Gonna go back to the city.
As you get up to walk away, Snicknesh, you see this dwarf that's been sitting there for a while watching you, doing something to a piece of paper. You know what paper is, but you're not familiar with whatever he was doing. He kept moving his hand around and kept staring at you kind of weirdly. You're not sure if he wanted to mate with you, if he was in awe of your greatness, or if he was just interested to watch you eat.
I'm pursuing.
Okay, Bardris, as you are starting to walk away, you see off in the distance a very tall, what looks to be a very skinny, dragonborn-like creature coming towards you with a couple of glass jars and looking rather plain, someone you really wouldn't notice unless you were looking at them, and then you just hear the water suddenly splash and can feel danger coming behind you.
I have a plan. I'm gonna wait. I have a
You know,
plan.
my famous
I'm
last
turning
words.
on Moto Moto.
that is the Moto is exactly how I did that.
As he comes out of the water, comes charging at you, and
I'm gonna
you
hold
can-
up the nice picture I made of his face.
okay,
I'm gonna
Snicknesh,
smile.
as this dwarf turns around and suddenly he holds up what looks to be a piece of paper with some sort of writing on it. You don't read, nor do you write, and you really don't understand what this is, but the writing for some reason looks like you.
I made a
I'm gonna
picture.
grab the book and I'm just gonna start looking at it and poking it.
Okay, as you grab it and start poking it, your claws go right through the hole, or right through it.
I give it back.
I'll make a new one. I'll make a
Bardris,
new one.
to give you an idea, you're an average sized dwarf. This creature in front of you has about 4 feet on you, roughly, and is towering over you, and is wider than any dwarf you've ever seen.
He's got 5 feet on me. I think
I'm 9
6.
foot.
Did he say
I'm 9 foot.
he's got 6 feet on me, right?
There you go.
Well, closer to 5. Yeah, a little over 5 feet on me.
Mhm. As he towers over you, as water drips from him, you just see this very deadpan look of a crystal dragonborn, a creature you remember reading about. These are very rare creatures, and considered extinct outright. The very tall dragonborn that was coming towards you is getting closer.
Well, now I have a title for what I was writing when I make a new page, I guess. A living crystal dragon. That'll be.
Okay.
I guess I'll start doing that.
So you're just gonna start drawing him again?
Yeah, I'm just gonna make a copy of what I was doing and give it the title and some information now.
I will mention,
As
Snicknesh
he
is
does.
butt-ass naked, just to make that very clear.
Yeah,
That's why I'm only sketching his face. I don't really care.
Snicknesh doesn't wear clothes really, besides maybe occasionally a loincloth, but he's lost that so many times it doesn't even count.
Alright. So as you begin to draw him, Caspian,
Yeah.
as you're getting closer, you see this rather short dwarf standing there. Oh, well, this dragonborn is towering over this poor dwarf, looking very deadpanned, like no emotion. You can't get a read on this creature at all, and the dwarf is just slowly drawing the dragonborn from what you can see from this distance. This is
From this distance, does it look like this dwarf is being held hostage to
No.
draw him?
No, it looks
No.
like it honestly looks like the giant. What you realize is finally is a crystal dragonborn, which you've never seen one of these before. And all you see is this creature staring at the dwarf, not really attacking, not really hungry, just staring at it.
Can I get some sort of read on its intentions?
Uh,
How far away am I? Do
At
I have
this
something
point-
to like hide behind, or
no,
am I
this
just
is an
walking
open.
in the open?
This is an open
Oh,
plain.
no.
I want to wave the Caspian.
Okay, as the dwarf turns, as he's continuing to draw, or has been drawing, turns and waves to you over.
I notice the man he's waving at, and I stare directly at him.
This is a very skinny and unappetizing looking dragonborn. In fact, you'd consider this a sickly looking dragonborn.
I look back at the dwarf.
All right, Caspian, as you
I,
get closer, yes.
Super intimidated, but I stride up, looking as confident as possible.
Do I smell the
You
fear?
smell his fear, Snicknesh.
That's impossible. That's not
I
a
have
thing.
no fear.
As you get closer, Caspian,
You smell cologne.
I
You
will
smell
mention,
Axe body spray.
as you get closer to Snicknesh, Caspian, you notice he has a strange thing like almost stuck to his face. It looks like a human bronze nose with a tiny black mustache coming out of it.
Not gonna say anything. I just think that's disturbing. I walk up to the dwarf, just kind of slowly but confidently approaching, and I go, "My friend, are you all right?"
No, I'm okay. I'm just here to take notes.
Hello. I am Caspian.
Is he saying this to me?
Caspian. I point
Yeah.
to myself. Caspian, me, you, and I point to him.
Snicknesh.
Write that down.
Yeah, as you start writing that down, I go, write that down, write that down.
If you read it, I really hope you read my mind. I want you to.
I'm a little frightened too, but I do. I absolutely do.
I would be frightened to read
It's just like
What are the
tiny-
surface thoughts?
The surface thoughts are me hungry. Where is food? These don't look appetizing. Why is small short man doing thing with arm and inky feather?
Wow. I can read exactly what a person is thinking based off their emotions alone. No language needed, and it still came out as stupid.
Yeah, Caspian, you don't get an emotion from this creature. You get
God.
just legitimately pure hunger and what you would describe, and the only time you've ever experienced this was when you were traveling through the Goliath lands for a little bit. As this is a man that has no thoughts nor emotions. It is dead.
Wow.
That's the scariest kind.
He's a walking vegetable. He's not. Is he considered sentient?
Yeah, he's actually very. Snicknish is actually very smart, surprisingly.
Uh,
Is he?
Yeah, he's got a decent.
he's
Yeah,
-1.
yeah, but he's still got an 8 in
He just
intelligence.
has no thoughts.
Yeah. And with that, the DM's going to take a quick break to let the party sink that in while he runs to the restroom. Because I've drank too much water.
Are you guys ready to understand the inner
Isn't-
machinations of Snicknesh's mind? Because you guys never
Isn't
really.
sentient?
You guys
Technically
never
sentient-
really.
Honestly, if you tell me, Trin, if I actually delved deeper, because it does alert people when I like actually dive into their mind.
I don't think
further
Snicknesh
to,
would
like,
really.
Get
I don't
the
really
deep,
think.
deep set thoughts. Would he understand what that means, or
Well,
would he?
I
it off
don't
all
think.
the
My
time.
brain tickles.
I don't think he would really notice. I'm gonna be honest. Like as long as you don't make
I
him
didn't
do
think
anything,
so.
yeah, I don't think he'd really notice.
Technically, isn't sentience anything above like a 4 in intelligence?
Yeah,
Isn't that?
Yeah.
So he's dumb, but he's sentient.
He's just not very bright. He's bright for a crystal dragonborn, but he's not very bright.
You're in the gifted class with the crystal dragon.
Yeah. I learned basic mathematics.
Good.
Barely.
Oh, I see that.
I-
Intelligence -1, wisdom -1, charisma -1.
But I have a 9.
Yo!
Okay.
He's great.
How do you
with
have
that, but-
26 AC?
Oh, he has
Yeah.
high dex.
Look at that.
He has +3 for Dex.
Anyways, alright, the DM is back. So,
Welcome back.
I left my die
Oh boy,
D20.
this is a
give me
scary
minute.
dragon.
Give me one moment. I left my D20 in the other room.
His hide is
Bardrus has
harder
no
than an
fear.
ancient dragon's.
Nothing.
Wait, really? That us?
No, God damn it! Don't ever say that again in my presence. Oh, that's Elon Musk.
Wait, what did you
SNL.
say?
I said that us.
Oh.
I'll explain later, Wolf, for the context.
No, I watched Elon Musk, so no.
Okay. So, you're reading this creature. He's not dumb. He's just doesn't seem to naturally have any thoughts that pertain to anything.
Instinctive. He's instinctive.
Okay, question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because, what, he's 9 feet tall?
Yep.
The most he could possibly consume, probably, are a few 100 pounds of food.
Yeah, you'd estimate him around almost 600 pounds by looking at him.
Okay,
And you do notice
would
that the reservoir...
would I have any idea of...
Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say that you do notice that the reservoir looks to be recently drained a good few feet.
But he's still hungry. Dang. Do I have any idea about the landscape around this town I just got to? Anywhere I can find something big enough to satiate him?
I do if you asked.
So the Dragonborn lands are mostly plains and deserts, with a few lakes spotted here and there. You're guessing, but although Snicknesh is saying, or thought process is still hungry, you are also getting the sense that he's not actually hungry. He's just killing to consume until he can't. His
Gotcha.
body isn't hungry anymore because you can notice that his belly is blimped out a little bit, and you'd probably gather after eating about 5 people a fish the size of a house and whatever else was in that water, as well as drinking half that water. He's probably filled. He's just doing it now at this point because it's an instinct.
Alright, I'll
Fair.
still kind of just keeping an eye on his surface thoughts. Go, hey buddy, you know, I heard that if you travel with a guy that looks like me, you always stay well fed. Just something I heard. It's pretty strange.
Can I confirm this as Snicknesh?
Snicknesh, please give me an intelligence check.
Sure. That's a 16.
Oh boy.
Snicknish.
Can I roll deception against it?
Yeah, go ahead and roll deception.
Do I have to roll
Okay.
insight?
Yeah, go ahead.
That's a nat 20
All right.
for
I was
26.
about to say, if this is the time that you lose to Snicknish and all people want to check.
What?
What?
Snicknish, you're intelligent enough to realize that he's telling you something that would be of value to you. And as you kind of get a smell off this man, this creature, really to you, both of them, you kind of smell a slight familiarity from before you were a statue, which you're still not remembering why you were a statue. You just remember that you woke up as a statue and you were hungry.
Okay.
However, you get a slight familiarity with the smell with these two creatures, and that smell brings back a slight saliva coming to your mouth as you remember all the glorious foods. Although you don't recall what the foods were, you just remember you ate very well with the in the past, with this smell around you.
I'll tag along. How big do these people look? Like how hefty?
Bardris is kind of small compared to you. He'd be about the size of one of your thighs, in total.
Okay.
Caspian, it looks kind of.
I'm 6 foot.
He's tall, but he
I'm
looks
pretty
sickly
scrawny.
to you.
Okay.
So you imagine you won't have to compete much for food against them.
Lovely. I'll just sort of like give a nice little toothy Snicknish smile.
As he does that, you see there are fingers. There's a couple bones in his mouth still. You're not sure if that's the head of a child or a fish. It could be either at this point.
I'm gonna add to my notes. Will eat anything.
You do see a piece of iron sticking out from what looks to be a gauntlet.
I seen this. I just slightly wince a little bit, and then I go up over to his side and just kind of slap my hand on his back, way above me. Just kind of slap my hand on his back and go, "My friend, see, I think we're going to have a very, very profitable relationship."
I have no idea but what he means.
He doesn't know
by
these words.
I don't know what he means by these
That's
words.
exactly the point.
I'm going to
I'm
just look at
just
him.
saying it in a tone that's appetizing.
Okay, I'm just going to look at him puzzled, but nod.
And that was
I
when
grin at him and just kind of nod too.
Caspian, you start to hear the elevator music going on in Snicknish's head at that point.
And the bum, 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 bum.
You kind of see Snicknish kind of moving his finger around slightly like he's listening to something in his head. That's very simple. And you realize...
And moving his finger around too.
The Moto is playing in the back. The music from Moto.
Big.
I like him chunky.
Oh, god damn it. Bardris, you watch as these two are now jamming out to something you don't know what's going on. One of these creatures looks like a sickly version of a dragonborn that's a little taller, and the other looks to be a creature out of prehistoric times.
Yeah, not knowing what the hell they're doing. Once I finish my notes, I'm gonna listen to one of my Whisper Jar recordings because I've never listened to them before, and I don't know what's in there.
Okay, so you open it in front of these two.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, with how it looks like I bring the thing up to my ear and kind of just listen.
And as you bring it up to your ear,
bottom.
You immediately hear shouting that causes you to go slightly deafer. Caspian and Snicknish can hear this very easily. And
I'm instinctively going to look back and just because like danger senses. I heard screaming. What's going on?
I immediately put my hands up like, whoa, big guy. Try to calm him down.
You hear
whoa.
You hear a very old sounding dwarf go, "Where is my damn spear? Why did that tiny human leave it in the Snakelands again?" And then the recording cuts.
Huh. Interesting.
You won't know that reference, but Trent and Wolf really do.
I'm gonna delete that recording. That one's not too important to me.
Okay. Alright, you delete that recording. There are 7 more.
I'll listen to those later. That's okay.
Spear in the
Okay.
snake lands. Weird.
Weird.
Who wants to
weird.
spear in the snake lands?
Oh,
I
wow.
want
That's kind of
I
weird.
want
That sounds like the least powerful and most random item ever.
Yeah, right?
I kind of want it for history purposes. Where's the snake lens?
No, we're good. We're good.
No.
Hey, let's come around here.
Yeah, let's just
Adventure for Bardress.
After about, while you guys are kind of sitting there, Caspian, Snicknesh, both give me perception checks as Bardrus is kind of distracted with his jar.
Alright.
And it's not a smell, don't worry, Snicknesh.
that's a 7.
15.
That's a 7. Oh, you're a great hunter. 15.
15 for Caspian, though.
Thankfully, you guys are. It's very obvious and very loud, so it doesn't take much to notice this. As you turn, you can see what looks to be a green-looking, very small, almost to Bardrus's height, dragonborn with a small army of about 100 men coming behind him. You notice that they're carrying a flag with a giant red design on, or red background with a single green looking water droplet on it.
I'm going to walk up to
Are
them.
they coming from the city or from outside
No,
the
they're
city?
coming from even farther up north.
I'm
Gotcha.
walking towards them.
Okay.
I'm
No,
gonna keep
I
myself.
try to grab onto him
And you
and go,
begin
wait,
getting
wait,
dragged.
Obviously I get dragged, but I go, hey, man, what are you doing?
Like, shiny.
Bardrus?
Yeah,
Yeah.
shiny. There's a lot of them.
I'm not gonna be part of this. I'm gonna keep messing with my jar, and I'm just gonna make sure if anyone comes with me, they know I'm just a champion of pyres and I don't know these people.
Okay. So,
Which is the truth. I don't.
as Snicknesh and Caspian unwillingly start to head towards that direction, the army kind of stops, and the very short dragonborn kind of walks up to Snicknesh. He's in plain nobleman's clothing, very well designed, and he just looks. He kind of walks up to Snicknesh, stops, snaps his fingers. One of the men comes over with what looks to be a small step ladder, and it gets the guy up to Snicknesh's chest.
Nice.
As the guy is still looking Snicknesh in the eyes and goes, "You're Snicknesh.
Me Snicknesh.
Well, shit."
I gasp and go, oh, you can talk.
I look at him, mildly irritated.
Yes, this one ate my father when he and the others invaded our lands from the gnomish lands. He puts out a hand to Snicknesh, completely open to shake his hand.
Is this an invitation to eat his hand?
It is not.
Oh,
Are-
God.
Do I know it? Do I
Can
know?
can I hear him think that?
Yeah.
I go, no.
I look at him and say, "What?"
I gesture to kind of like forcefully put my hand out. I try to like shove his hand out, but his hand probably weighs
I'll
more
let
than
him
I
guide.
do, so I can't.
I'll let him guide me. I'll let him guide me.
Okay, I put his hand out to shake.
The man looks at you and goes, "My name, they call me the Baron. I like you, Snicknesh. You made it so I gained power a lot quicker than what I was expecting. Allow me," as he snaps his fingers again, and one of the guards drags what looks to be a giant dead cow over to you. He goes,
I eat it whole immediately.
as you watch as Snicknesh does his one hidden feat, which is to unhinge his jaw and swallow
Oh,
any
boy.
creature that is of his size or smaller, and gulps the thing down. The Baron just kind of watches and goes, "Yeah, you dwarf, come here."
Yes? Oh, okay.
As he gets off his stepladder and goes, "I take it you're in charge of Snicknesh and this tall-looking sickly fellow."
To be honest, I just know that they
Good,
have
I'm
been-
happy you are. All
No,
right.
Okay. No, I'm not.
So
No.
as far as it goes, I have a request for you.
Yes?
How would you like a month's worth of food for the big one, and some gold for taking care of something for me?
What would you need me to take care of?
You and your group will travel to the castle of Stonehold for me. I need to get some information about how they're doing, and what kind of situation the kingdom's in. I hear that their king is having a lot of issues currently.
I'm gonna consider for a second and think, well, I need to keep traveling anyway, and I do need money for travel expenses. And he's just asking me to check on them. Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Good, good. Take note of the men that are there. Get to know the people. Don't let Snicknesh eat the castle. And
You're
feed
gonna
this
be
one.
hard pressed.
That's gonna be difficult, but I'll do my best.
He just kind of looks at Caspian and goes, and feed this one. I recommend you take care of these things. I have business in town, but if you would head out immediately, that would be preferred, as I would not recommend sticking around here. Your new compatriot, as he watches Snicknetch now halfway through the cow and still pulling it down into his stomach.
Yes, I'm aware.
Probably won't do too well. Toutler may like him, but many of the other lords may not. Plus, he reminds me of a tiny black dragonborn I met a while back.
I immediately look at. Do I recall?
You remember traveling with a small child that was yours, that some human kept trying to take away from you.
I immediately hack out the rest of the cow that I haven't finished eating yet. Like I chomp down and I hack it and I leave the rest that I haven't eaten yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I walk over to him and I say, "Black one."
Yes, he's dead now, I'm sorry to say.
I stare at him blankly
He
for
was
like a solid minute.
unfortunately very stupidly killed during a mercenary expedition in the northern Dragonborn lands, fighting a very angry dwarf and a whole group of goblins.
I would like to hide.
In the middle of the plain with nothing around
Yes.
you. Okay,
Yes.
roll stealth.
I want to shrink down and make myself as little as possible.
I'm just gonna
Oh,
casually
no,
look through my
nothing to
things to
say.
make sure I'm good to travel. You're not stealthing.
I just like slouch down and walk backwards.
I would like to roar as loud as I possibly can.
The man immediately, you see him snap his fingers, and as Snicknish roars, nothing comes out.
Oh.
And he goes,
I try again.
nothing happens. He goes, well, that'll be enough of that, good young man. I don't really want to deal with that. However, I do have information for you should you complete this quest, my almighty Snicknish.
I don't understand a single word he just
I'm gonna
said.
look at Snicknesh. We do thing, get money, buy food.
Me like food.
There you go.
I walk away and I look for the tiny man now. The newly
Yeah,
tiny
we're
man.
we're gonna
Okay.
We're
Well,
gonna
he's
start
just crouching on the
heading
ground,
off
really
to the
trying not to be
direction of the
noticed.
mission.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pick him up and I'm gonna put him on my shoulders.
Okay. And
You
Vardris,
guys-
as you kind of start leading the group that way, the Baron kind of nods and continues his march into town. And as you guys go along, that is where we'll end today's session for session 0. You have your first quest, you have your direction, and you know what you're doing. Welcome to the world of death.